Students, welcome to our video lecture. In the last lecture, we have done up to section E, sum number 5 of exercise 1. Today, first we will conclude section E and then start, students, from section A. Now, mark 6th sum of section E, very important. The price of wheat increased by 70% and price of rice increased by 40% in the year 15 with respect to 10 as the base year. Okay, students, here we have to find the index number. So we will give the title section E, question number 6, the table to obtain index numbers is as below. In the first column, I will note down necessary items. The first item is wheat, then students rice, then the third item is oil. First I am noting down all the items. Oil, then students ghee. And then students, I forgot bajri, okay, that I am writing at the last. And then students, total. I am writing here how to find index number, I will discuss, then weights, and then IW. So if you recall the definition of weight, the relative importance attached to a commodity, students, is called its weight. There are two types of weight. Implicit or indirect weight and explicit or direct weight, students. This you have to perfectly remember. I repeat, students, there are two types of weights, implicit or indirect weight and explicit or direct weight. Now, price of wheat increased by 70%. So, index number will be 100 plus increment. So, index number of wheat 100 plus 70, and that will be, students, 170. Then price of rice increased by 40% in the year 2015 compared to, students, the base year 2010. So index number will be base year's index number plus increment. So the index number of rice is 140. Price of bajri decreased by 25%. So index number of bajri will be 100 minus, you can say, the decrement, so 75. The price of oil increased by 40%. So index number of oil will be base year's index number plus 40. So again 140, and the price of ghee decreased by 5%. So 100 minus 5 will give us, students, 95. So this is what, or this is how, students, we find index numbers. In such type of questions, index number is equal to base year's index number plus increment and base year's index number minus decrement or decrease. Now weights are not given directly, so this is indirect weight, or this is, you can say, implicit weight. The importance of oil is 3 times and of rice is double that of ghee. So it is given relative to ghee. Let us suppose that the importance of ghee is 1. We have supposed, students, I am writing here, we have supposed that importance of ghee is 1. So if the importance of oil is 3 times and rice is double that of ghee, oil 3 times of 1 is 3 into 1 and rice is double that of ghee, so 2 into 1. Even you can take this as 10, you can take this as 100, you can take it as x, you can take any value, students, but the easiest of all will be 1. So students, I have supposed that the weight of or importance of ghee is 1. So the importance of oil is 3 times that of ghee. So 3 into 1, 3. Rice is double that of ghee. So 2 into 1 is 2. Then an importance each of wheat and bajri is double that of rice. Bajri and wheat is double that of rice. Double of 2 is 4. So this is how, students, we have obtained weights. So now if I am going to total weights, it is 4 plus 2 6 plus 4 10 and 4 14. Now students, we will go, you can say, for now we go for index number. So 170 into 4, 7 4s are 68, so 680, 280, 14 3s are 42, then 95, and this is 300. So if I total, students, IW, then I am getting the total as 1775. So we are told to find the price index number of group of these 5 items. So index number, it is not cost of living index number. So sigma IW upon sigma W, 1775 divided by 14, and this gives us 126.79. 126.79. What is interpretation? Then I can say in the current year compared to the base year, 126.79 minus 100, so 26.79%. There is a rise in the increase, means there is a rise or increase in the index number or prices in the current year have risen by 26.approximately 8% compared to that of base year. Interpretation I am not writing, students. You can easily write interpretation on your own. The price in current year has increased by 26.8% compared to that of base year. That much only, students, we have to write. Okay, now students, question number 7. Now students, section E, question number 7. Section E. Calculate the real wages of a worker class from the following data about their monthly wages. Okay, students. Sum number 7. The table to obtain real wages and purchasing power. But purchasing power, I think, students, we have only find for 1 year. Okay, so that we are not writing for the time being. So the table to obtain real wages is as below. The first column here, leave two lines between consecutive year, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014 and 2015. Then monthly wage in rupees. Then index number or cost of living index number, and then real wage, that is also in rupees. So the wages are 15,000, 18,000, 19,000, then 20,000, then 22,000, then 25,000. Index numbers are 120, 180, 205, 220, 125 and 260. Now what was the formula to obtain real wage? Wage upon cost of living index number into 100. So wage is 15,000 upon cost of living index number is 120 into 100. Then 18,000 upon cost of living index number is 180 into 100. Then wage is 19,000 upon 205 into 100. Then 20,000 upon 220 into 100. Then 22,000 upon 235 into 100. And last 25,000 upon 260 into 100. So I will calculate it. So 12,000 12,500. Then this is of course 10,000. Then the next is 9268.29. Then 9090.91. Then 9361.7. And the last 9615.38. Students, in the last lecture we have already studied the formula for real wage and purchasing power. Purchasing power is 1 upon cost of living index number into 100, and real wage is wage upon cost of living index number into 100. Then find the purchasing power of money in the year 2015, considering the year 2008 as the base year. Okay students, so purchasing power, I am writing here, purchasing power is equal to 100 upon cost of living index number in 2015 is 260. So if I simplify, this comes out to be 0.38, very less. So 100 rupees worth in 2008 is only worth rupees 38. So purchasing power has decreased significantly. Now purchasing power, students, it was only for 2015, so it is 100 upon 260. Okay students, now pay attention students. Section 8. We are going to start with. Okay students, now pay attention. We are going to start with the basics, and that basic is nothing but students, section 8. Now find the correct option of the following multiple choice questions. Now students, all of you pay attention. Which method is useful to compare the long-term variations in the values of the variable? Now students, all of you pay attention. Two important theory theory which we haven't discussed that I am discussing now, and those two theories are advantages and limitations of fixed base method and chain base method. Students, intentionally I had skipped those theories initially because I did not want you to be overstuck with theories. Now I am discussing those theories given on page 10. Merits and limitations of fixed base method. The first merit, students, uniformity is maintained in calculation and computation of relative changes in the values of variable, as base year is always fixed or constant. In fixed base method, students, P0 remains same. So uniformity is maintained in calculation or computation of index numbers. This method is useful to compare the long-term changes in the values of variable quantity. The most important merit and advantage of this method, students, is that fixed base method is used to compare long-term changes in the values of variable quantity, and this method is very easy to understand and compute. Of course, every time just write out P1, P0 is fixed. So I will be P1 upon P0 into 100. So these are the three merits. Now limitations. The taste, habits and fashion of consumer changes with time, and hence there is a change in the items used by the consumer. The items with reduced usage which were used in the past cannot be removed from this method. So if I summarize in one statement this limitation, this method is rigid. It does not include new items in use, nor does it eliminate the outdated items. Then it is not always possible to have a standard year with normal conditions. The base year, selection of base year is difficult. Students, we have already discussed that the criteria or selection of a base year is a normal year free from natural and man-made calamities, free from economic recession and boom, free from political instability and other extraneous factors. So it is possible that a year will have at least one of these factors. So selection of a base year is not an easy thing. With wrong selection of a base year, wrong index numbers and interpretations are done. This method is not suitable to compare the short-term changes. Now the advantages we have told that this method is suitable to only compare long-term changes. So it is not suitable to compare short-term changes by this method. The quality of selected items keep changing. It is not possible to make necessary changes in their weights also in this method. Quality of selected items keep on changing. Quality and quantum both changes. And therefore you can say that it is not possible to make necessary changes in their weight. Weight is relative importance attached to a commodity. If the base year is of remote past, then the comparison cannot be considered to be appropriate. Students, if your base year is of remote past, then students, the comparison cannot be considered proper. So the only point to be remembered for MCQ, fixed base method is used to compare long-term changes in the values of variable quantity. Now students, the chain base method, merits and limitations. The first merit, the problem of selecting a base year does not arise in chain base method because by default previous year becomes base year. As the comparison is with the preceding year, new items can be included according to the taste, habit and fashions, and outdated items can be excluded. So this method is not so rigid. And this method is used in the field of economics, trade, commerce as the value of variable in the current period as compared with the period in the recent past. This is more appropriate method, students, in the field of trade, commerce and industry, because industry would like to compare their performance with the past year rather than comparing it with the remote year of past. Limitations. This method is only suitable to compare short-term changes. If there is an error in the calculation of one of the index number by this method, then the effect of that error continues in the interpretation of index number of succeeding year. correct. If one of the index number is wrong, then its impact is always considered in the next or succeeding year. There is no uniformity in the computation of index number because by default the previous year becomes base year. And if the information of one of the year in between is missing, then the succeeding index number cannot be found. Suppose say we are finding index number for 10 to 80 and the variable quantity of 2015 is missing, then from 15 onwards we cannot find the index numbers. So students, the most appropriate method of index number is dependent upon the selection of base year. Fixed base is used to compare long-term changes. Change-based students is used to compare short-term changes. So this you have to remember and write it once in your fair book. So students, if I am going to discuss MCQ in the section A, then which method is used to compare the long-term changes in the values of variable quantity? The answer is fixed base method. Then which consumption is used in the calculation of last year's index number? Now students, in the last year's index number, our formula is IN is equal to sigma P1 Q0 upon sigma P0 Q0 into 100. P0 Q0 is, you can say, the expenditure of base year, and which quantity is used in the definitely I said consumption of base year. Q0 is used. And expenditure, then it is expenditure of base year as weight. That is altogether a different thing. Which consumption is used in the calculation of last year's index number? Okay, we are only asked about quantity. Consumption means quantity. We use Q0. And in partial index number, we use Q1, that is consumption of current year. So here students, the correct option is option E. Third, which prices are considered in the construction of cost of living index number? If you recall, I told you retail prices are always considered in the construction of cost of living index number. Which expenditure of items is assigned as weight in the method of family budget? Okay, in the method of family budget, cost of living index number is sigma IW upon sigma W, and W is nothing but P0 Q0, and P0 Q0 is nothing but expenditure of base year. P0 Q0 is nothing but students the expenditure of base year. Which average is considered as the best average of construction of index number? Which average is considered as the best? Ideal average is the geometric mean, and in practice students we use the weighted mean. So the correct option is D. The best or ideal average is geometric mean, but due to difficulty in calculation of geometric mean, students we use weighted mean. So in MCQ 5, the correct option is D. I told you also, isn't it, selection of average in the construction of cost of living index number. Best or ideal average is geometric mean, but due to difficulty in calculation, we use weighted mean. Which index number gives an idea of standard of living about the people? Of course, cost of living index. According to definition only students, cost of living index number is studied in order to enhance the basic standard of living. The price of an item increased by 4.5 times in the current year as compared to the base year. What will be the price index number? Students, this MCQ has been asked 5 times in board examination. So MCQ 7 is very important. What they have told, price of an item increased by 4.5 times in the current year as compared to the base year. Suppose base year's price is say P0 is equal to 1 rupee. Then current year's price will be base year's price plus increment. So increment is 4.5 times that of the price in the base year. So the current year's price will be 1 plus 4.5 and that is 5. Say suppose a person gets rise in salary. His initial salary was 10,000, he got a rise of 20%. Then his current year's say the salary, sorry, not price, say the salary of a person in the base year was 10,000 and he got a rise of 20%. So his salary in the current year will be 10,000 plus increment, which is 20% of 10,000 is 2,000. So his current year salary would be 10,000 plus 2,000, 12,000. Same way here, students, the base year's price is P0 is equal to 1 rupee, current year's price is P0 plus increment. So 1 increment is 4.5 times that of base year. So 4.5 into 1. Therefore, the index number becomes, this is definitely P1 upon P0 into 100, 5.5 upon 1 into 100. So the index number becomes 550. This is the answer. Very, very important MCQ. Students, understand, base year's price is 1. Increment in the current year is 4.5 times that of base year. So current year's price will be base year's price plus increment. I told you salary of a person was 10,000 rupees. He got a rise of 20%. So his current salary would be initial salary plus increment 10,000 plus 2,000, that is 12,000. This is how, students, we have to remember. Now 8. If the purchasing power of money is 0.75 in the year 16 with respect to the base year 15, then what will be the price index number? Okay, students, let us erase and write. Now, MCQ, students, 8. Purchasing power is equal to 100 upon index number. Purchasing power is 0.75 and we have to find index number. So index number will be 100 upon 0.75. So 100 into 4 divided by 3. So 400 upon 3, so it is 133.33. So the correct option is C. Ninth question, students. If the cost of living index number of a particular class is 200 for the year 16 with respect to 15, which of the following statement is true? The cost of living index number is 200. Okay. So students, if I calculate purchasing power is 100 upon cost of living index number or simply index number. So 100 upon 200. So their purchasing power has been only 50% of what was in the base year. So the correct statement is C. Purchasing power of money is only 0.5. Now 10. If IP is equal to I, then which of the following statement is true? Okay, students. 10. IP is equal to IF. Now all of you know IF is equal to root of IL into IF. So IF square will be equal to IL into IP, and that is equal to IP square according to given. So IP and IP gets cancelled. So IL is equal to IP and IP is equal to IF. A is equal to B and B is equal to C. Then A is equal to B is equal to C. So all three index numbers are equal. So the correct option is against. Here also the correct option, students, was C. Now students, MCQ 11. Come on. Now students, we are discussing MCQ 11. If the average disposable income of families of a class is 20,000 in the year 30, and if the cost of living index number for the year 2015 with 13 as base year was 130, what should be the average disposable income in the year 2015? This is very simple, students. In the base year, index number is 100. At that time, income was how much? 20,000 rupees, which is already given. Then, when index number changes to 130, what should be the income? So, income in rupees is equal to 130 into 20,000 divided by 100. So, income must be 26,000 rupees. So, the correct option is A. Students, option A is the correct option. Okay. The last MCQ. If what weight is assigned as expenditure to the price relative P1 upon P0 of the items to obtain the formula of Pasch's index number. Now in Pasch's index number, in the denominator we have P0Q1. So weight is assigned as P0Q1. So the correct answer is C, because IP is equal to sigma P1Q1 upon sigma P0Q1 into 100. So this is the weight. Always the denominator criteria is weight. So students, the correct option is C. Now students, section B. Now students, we are discussing section B. Let us discuss first 5 questions. What is price relative? The ratio P1 upon P0 is called price relative, where P1 is the current year's price